How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Want to give you a little bit of an update here because we saw a lot of green today. I want to answer some of your questions. As you know, I've been answering pretty much everyone's questions every single day that posts them in a couple different channels on the Discord, so I want to go over that. I haven't looked at them, so I haven't prepared anything, but definitely going to take a look at that and just take a look at how the market ended up. So we saw a lot of green towards the end of the day. RAC warrants up 16%, which we hold some of those, or I hold some of those. DMTK up 13%, Time up 11. We have some other stocks like BFT up 11. They're getting close to their merger too. And we saw some stocks kind of rally into the close there, including just the indexes in general. But actually a really good day overall for a lot of different companies. And I think we'll see probably some movement here after hours too. We have the Fed talking later this week, so we might see some movement there. But I'm just happy overall at the way this day went. Pretty good day for a Monday. Can't complain there. Now, just going through the Discord here, I haven't taken a look at any of these questions, so some of these I might have answers to, some I might not have looked at yet. I know there's a lot of companies that people are bringing up to me now that I have to do research on. I just haven't looked into them enough at this point. What's happening with RAC? So I don't think there's anything happening with RAC. It's still down around 11-ish dollars. That being said, though, like I said, the warrants for RAC went up a lot today. They went up 16%. So some people were making some big buys on these warrants, I think, because you can see it went up very drastically and then down very drastically, then up very drastically. I think there are some people that feel very confident about these warrants, basically saying, okay, 5 years from now, I'm seeing it much higher than it is now. So that in mind, I think just a lot of people aren't looking at it as much because it's not like a very flashy company. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on GDRX. Over 11% drop after the quarterly report yesterday. Here's a quote from Fool.com. With its financial report, GoodRx management offered guidance for the coming quarter and year, expects 30% year-over-year revenue in the first quarter of 2021. And for the year, expects revenue of 735 to 755, which represents 30% to 32% growth from 2020. With double-digit growth on tap and non-recurring expenses lower going forward, GoodRx seems well positioned for success in the coming year. However, the stock trades at around 21 times forward sales, which is traditionally considered very pricey. Therefore, potential investors have to decide whether a 30% growth rate warrants that kind of premium valuation. So GoodRx is a company that I've watched videos on a while ago, but I haven't looked at it recently. Just completely honest here. That being said, just based on what they said there, I haven't looked to make sure that's true. But a 30% growth ratio and there's trading around 21 times forward sales. That seems pretty pricey to me for that growth ratio, but I could be wrong. I'm sure there's a company or two that I have that are similar to that, but at this point, it seems a little bit high. At what price will I sell SFTW? I don't know if I will sell all of SFTW at any point, but if it went up to 15, 16, I consider selling part of it. I definitely think it could hit that though pretty soon. I might, if it hits 15 or 16, I might take a little bit off the table. If it hits 20 or 30, which I think it could in the next couple of years, probably in the next year, especially with ARK, if it hits 20 or 30, I might just take out my cost basis or something like that. But I have to figure that out at the time because sentiment changes so quickly that that's something I'll have to reevaluate. I cannot find any follow-up on Quell and Lilium. Is it still on? Do you know anything? So I have not heard anything on that either. The nice thing is we bought it when it was, I think, between $10 and $12. So really we haven't lost much of anything. It was kind of a play where, okay, if they announce, then maybe it jumps, but I haven't heard anything at this point. So I'm still holding on to it, just to be clear. If something else comes up that's a better opportunity, I might sell and then buy that. What are my thoughts on IPOE? Are you personally invested? Price term for short and long term. So I am invested in IPOE. I don't know if I have a good price target at this point, just because there's so much volatility over the last couple weeks. It's tough to put a price target on it. That being said, I am holding it. I could probably put a price target on it if I look into it more in depth. I don't have like a spreadsheet with all my price targets or anything like that. I've done videos on IPOE, so if you want to go back and check that on the main channel, you can definitely check that out. GWAC merger with Cipher Mining looks really promising. Yeah, so I was looking into that one today. I was digging into it. It looks like they don't have any income now. It looks like they're projecting large revenues, and they have some ties to companies that are pretty big. Uh, I think they're being valued pretty high though right now with no revenue. That being said, of course, and I listened to an interview by the CEO too, it could do really well. I have to do more research into it, but it's honestly a really hard presentation to look through because Bitcoin mining in general is already kind of difficult. So it's talk about hash rates, ACIS, and all this kind of stuff. And it does give out numbers for like how much Bitcoin they think will actually be mined, but it's kind of difficult to take a look at it. I should read this too, Cypher Mining Specs, and it's not very expensive right now compared to net asset value. Do I hold Ride, or are you considering it on the current dip? I don't hold Ride. Uh, I've been considering it, but I haven't looked into the short report. If there's nothing that's that, if there's nothing that really matters in the short report, like sometimes they throw shade at these companies, but even if they have been like changing or bending the truth a little bit, sometimes it doesn't really matter depending on what it is. I haven't looked into that, but there's just a lot in the market, so I haven't made that a priority. ANX had amazing news today. European Patent Office has issued and published the first European patent for its novel ovarian cancer vaccine technology. It's the worldwide licensee for this, but after an initial spike, it is up only 5%. Any thoughts on this? So I haven't looked into this news. I don't know that much about ovarian cancer vaccine technology or their information on this. I'm assuming if it spiked 5%, either people don't know about it or people don't care about it. I'm guessing it's people don't care about it enough for some reason because news like this should spread pretty quickly. But I don't know anything right off the top of my head on that. Are there any stocks you're looking at for short-term plays? So I'm guessing you're talking about like some quick swing trade or something. Honestly, the market over the last couple weeks has been so crazy that I haven't been finding a lot of short-term plays. Uh, Partly because so many of those short-term plays went down so drastically. So I've been looking a little bit more long-term. That being said, the long-term plays have been doing really well too. So I don't want to discount those because like some of those long-term plays, like DermTech, like Time, like BFT, those are all up 10+% today. So I think really I'm looking for good value plays in general. And if the market keeps on going up, I think there will be more potential for short-term plays because people will be a little bit less worried. Okay, so this is more for questions, so I'm not going to take a look too deeply at like pictures with a lot of information. Is Cfac a good investment? I haven't looked at it at all. Does Sam promote stocks by getting paid from someone else? So I've done I've done a few sponsored videos, but I make it super clear. I have like 4 disclosures in there. I make it super clear, and I'm not invested in any of the ones that I talk about like that. I saw you sold DMYD the other day. Do you think it's worth holding? Same about BFT. So I'm holding BFT. DMYD, I like the company. I just didn't have a large enough position. And because I just bought my house and a ring and a bunch of other stuff, I don't have the capital to make it a large position. I really would have liked to make a large position right off the bat, but with the number of shares I held, it wasn't worth even like having on my mind at the small position I have. But I like it long term. I would just make sure you go back and research it though, because I haven't looked into it in probably the last month or two. I mean, I did like right when I sold it again, but yeah. TDOC good to buy at 196. If you're looking long term, yes. In my opinion, of course, none of this is financial advice. I should be very clear about that. Should have done a better job of saying that at the beginning. Is TDOC good to buy though? I think it's a growing company. It's in a growing sector. I think it's the market leader, and I really like it. Uh, Someone says, should I keep or sell SNDL? That's totally up to you. So I don't cover SNDL really that closely. You have to do your own research on that one. Sorry. Lucid showtime on the 17th of March, or am I being too optimistic? I don't know what's happening on the 17th of March with Lucid. Is Lucid maybe Lucid Showtime is some kind of event or something? That could be. If I know that the CEO took their product on the road, I think as soon as they can have other people drive their products, it will be really good for the stock price. But let me know if you guys have any more questions. Feel free to leave them in the questions on Patreon. I like to do this. I've been doing it every day, so except on the weekends, but I've been doing it throughout the week. Let me know if you guys like this. I appreciate it. Thank you for leaving a thumbs up and subscribe. If you guys want to go check out the link down below to WeBull, you can definitely check that out to get some free stocks. Thanks, and I'll see you here in the next video. Bye.